On behalf of our group, I'd like to introduce to you Octobob. Our basic octopus blueprint originated from the sketch seen here. We originally had planned to just make the legs rotate around the frame of the body. However, it soon became evident that various other locomotion techniques could be employed with our design. So through a series of intensive ideation processes, our group members built on each other's suggestions until we decided on making a final design of having the octopus walk through a series of rotating appendages. And in regards to the play value of Octobob, he has limited involvement but resides steadily in the middle of the rest of the scales, meaning that he would be best suited for younger, more developing audiences.
The next step in our design process was creating the parts in Pro E. The first part in the upper left-hand corner is the base. It is the part where that holds the motor and all the other parts are attached to it. In the upper right-hand corner is the driving leg. It is important that when this leg rotates, it touches the ground, so it rotates below the base and propels Octobob forward. It was created using a blend. In the bottom left-hand corner is the front and back legs. They were created to be fixed to the base. And in the bottom right-hand corner is the head of Octobob. It was created in two halves. The second half was a mirror of the first half, and it was created using boundary blends, extrusions, and rounds. Here's a front view of what Octobob looks like, and then here is a top view of Octobob. As you can see, he looks somewhat like our concept generation sketch.
Now, before we put our parts into the SLA machine, we had to orient them in the Lightyear program. We did so to minimize stepping, and we also made a few extra parts just in case any of ours were to break during the assembly process. Our parts turned out pretty good. After we went through a process of sanding and priming, we spray painted a blue lacquer on all the parts until we got the shiny finish that we desired, and then we hand painted the eyes and the mouth using acrylic paint. And our parts ended up looking pretty good, just like we wanted it to through CAD.
All right, now I'm going to talk about what drives Octobob. Of course, our main issues were our motor turns pretty fast, so we had to step down to allow him to move slower. And also, we had a very tight space, had to fit all the gears in. So next slide here will show the motor drives the very large gear on the right side there, which is then connected by a shaft to the smaller gear, which is then connected to the two larger gears that is driven by, and then the chain drives the two gears on each driving leg. And then here's how the motor with the gears and the battery pack fit inside of his head. It's a pretty tight space, but it fits okay. And now Bob's going to show how he runs.
As Chris mentioned, basically just powered by a turbine motor and a basic on-off switch in the back. But all right, I don't hear it. One thing we struggled with was actual traction, if you will, of the actual device. There is a lot of slipping of the toy on the. One thing we struggled with was traction of the actual device on the whatever it's tracking, or I guess moving on. It does slip quite a bit. We use things such as rubber pads on the bottom of the legs to actually make it propel forward more directly. We had some good luck with it, some bad luck with it, and also it seemed as if using traction or traction aiding devices, it actually was more friction than we wanted and actually slowed it down, was hindering it more than helping it. So we just went with just basic SLA modeling or SLA surface on the ground or whatever is moving on. That's it.